This is a wonderful world in which we live. A world crowded with beauty, grandeur, and mystery. Yes, this is a wonderful world. But perhaps the greatest wonder of all is man himself. His body is a marvel of mechanical efficiency and adaptability. Man-made machines require lubrication from an outside source, but the body manufactures its own lubricant in the right grade and right amount for every part. The body has a chemical plant far more complex and efficient than any man has ever built. It transforms the food we eat into flesh and blood and bones and teeth. And the body has a heating system, a living furnace that we stoke daily with food for fuel. As this fuel is oxidized, heat and energy are provided for the body machine. An automatic thermostat controls both our heating and our cooling systems, keeping our temperature at a normal 98.6 degrees, except when a higher temperature is needed to combat disease. Still more wonderful is the human eye. The camera, man's nearest mechanical approach to the eye, resembles it in many ways. For any camera, whether it's a tiny model small enough to fit into your vest pocket, or a giant tracking camera, which photographs the details of the launching of a space vehicle, has a lens similar in design and function to the lens of the human eye. When a lens is focused on an object at a given distance and that distance is changed, the object becomes blurred and the lens must be refocused to the new distance. In the camera, this focusing must be done by hand, but in the eye, it's automatic. Strong muscles change the focus thousands of times each day without a thought on our part. Now, the pictures the eye gives us are not black and white. They're color pictures. And they're not stills. They're motion pictures. And they're not silent. They're sound pictures. Do you know that the music you're hearing is being played all over again on a perfect little musical instrument inside your ear? We think of the sound as being produced by the piano, and of course, in one sense, it is. But actually, the piano is as silent as a tomb and is merely producing vibrations in the air. As the keys are struck, felt hammers strike the strings, causing them to vibrate, each at its own frequency. The vibrating strings set the air pulsating to the same frequencies. These pulsations are transmitted to the outer ear, down the auditory canal, and through the mechanical linkage of the middle ear to the cochlea, which is all rolled up like a cockle shell. If the cochlea could be stretched out, we would discover a musical instrument similar to the piano, but far more wonderful and complex. The ear has more than 24,000 strings. When the piano is played, the ear's remarkable little keyboard plays the same tones and sends corresponding signals along individual lines to the brain. The outer ear operates in air, but the cochlea is filled with a liquid. The transmission of sound from air to a liquid is one of the most difficult problems known to science. But in the ear, this problem is beautifully solved by the mechanical preciseness of the middle ear, with its two diaphragms and three connecting bones with the exact leverage required. In the ear, these tiny bones, the ossicles, are exactly right for the job. They are a fixed size that must not change from the cradle to the grave. These are the actual bones from the ear of an adult and a child. Can it be just an accident that they are the only bones in a baby's body that do not grow, that are fully developed at birth? The ear is one of the most efficient sound detectors known to man, capable of hearing the roar of a cannon or the rustle of leaves, and under ideal conditions, even the footfalls of a cat. Scientists in the field of acoustical engineering have designed unusual rooms where it is possible to study the amazing sensitivity of the human ear. Prisms of spun glass absorb incidental sounds. Protected from outside noise, one can hear things he never heard before. The sound of air molecules beating against the eardrums. The sound of the heart pounding against the ribs. Did you ever see a living, beating human heart? This marvelous little pump pumps 12 pints of blood through hundreds of thousands of miles of blood vessels every minute. And in one day, pumps enough blood to fill a large gasoline truck to overflowing. During a lifespan, it would fill a string of tank cars 50 miles long and beat 2.5 million times without a single shutdown for repairs. Have you ever wondered what goes on in the brain of a homing pigeon? Somewhere within its tiny head is locked a secret no man has ever solved. A secret that enables it to take to the air long distances from home, circle about a few minutes, get its bearings in some mysterious way, and then fly straight home over long miles of unfamiliar territory. Because of the pigeon's strange homing ability, pigeon raising has become a popular hobby. As soon as the young are able to fly, they are released from the home loft on daily training flights. Like athletes, they must build up their speed and endurance through many weeks of strenuous training. Then, at last, the 500-mile race. At sunrise, Pigeondom's greatest race classic gets underway as thousands of experienced flyers take to the air. No one ever taught these birds the way home. No one ever showed them the path they should take. And yet, so unerringly do they wing their way across hundreds of unfamiliar miles that the time of their arrival home can be predicted almost exactly. But pigeons are small-time operators compared with the Pacific golden plover. It lives and mates in eastern Siberia and Alaska, but it winters in the Hawaiian Islands. In late summer, the adult birds make the long migration journey, traveling 2,000 miles over open sea. Without stopping for food or rest, they fly unerringly to these pinpoint islands in the vast Pacific. Junior's left at home because he's too young to make the trip. But many weeks later, as soon as he's able to fly, he too feels the urge to migrate, and he sets out for a goal he has never seen. To reach it, he must fly 2,000 miles over an unmarked path he has never traveled before, and the birds with him can't show him the way. They've never made the trip before either. But what prompts the golden plover to set out for a place he has never seen? Just think what would happen if his navigation were off and he missed those tiny islands. To keep a modern plane on its course requires an array of complicated instruments.